It was quiet this early in the morning, so I heard my mother's car approach. Z, is there any way you could hide this? I waved my hands at the shop. For a few minutes. I didn't know much about what he could and couldn't do. Outside of fixing cars and playing with metal, he didn't use magic much in front of me. But I'd seen his real face once, so I knew his personal glamour was good. If he could mask his face, surely he could hide a bunch of green and red paint. He frowned at me in deep displeasure. You didn't ask for favors from the Fae. Not only was it dangerous, but they tended to take offense. Z might love me, might owe me for freeing him from a tight spot, but that would only take me so far. My mother is coming. The vampires are after me, and I have to get her to leave. She won't do it if she knows I'm in danger. Then, because I was desperate, I played dirty. Not after what happened with Tim. Z's face stilled. Then he grabbed my wrist and pulled me with him. Hey! So we were both standing closer to the garage. He put his hand on the wall next to the door.
If it works, I won't be able to remove my hand without breaking the spell.
When Mom turned the corner, the graffiti was gone. You're the best.
Make her leave soon. This is not my sort of magic.
I nodded and took a step towards my mom's car when I saw the door clearly. Covered by red and green paint, it hadn't been as noticeable. Someone with some artistic skill had painted an X on the door. In case I didn't get the right idea, instead of 2 mere lines, the shape was formed by 2 bones. They were ivory with grayish shadows and just a faint blush of pink, not painted by a couple of self-righteous, irate kids with spray paint.
You'd better hide that. Magic won't.
I put my back against the door and folded my arms. So why don't you think it's running right? I asked him as my mother walked over from her car with Hotep on a leash.
Because it is old.
Z took my cue.
Because it was not well designed in the first place. Because air-cooled engines need constant tinkering.
I was, hey, Mom.
Marguerite.
Mr. Adelbert Smider.
My mom didn't like Z. She blamed him for my decision to stay in the Tri-Cities and fix cars instead of finding a teaching job. Something much more in line with the kind of work she thought I should be doing. Politeness done, she turned back to me.
I thought I'd stop by before heading home.
She couldn't get too close, though, because as soon as he caught my scent, Hotep growled and lowered his head aggressively, protecting my mom from the bad coyote. I'll be fine. I curled my lip at the Doberman. I actually like dogs, but not this one. Give my love to Kurt and the girls.
Don't forget to work things out so you can come to Nan's wedding.
Nan was my younger half-sister, and she was getting married in 6 weeks. Luckily, I wasn't part of the wedding party, so all I had to do was sit and watch. I have it on my calendar. Z's going to take care of the shop for me.
Fine then.
She gave Hotep a rueful look.
You need to teach him to behave like you did Ringo.
Ringo was a poodle, Mom. A fight between Hotep and me wouldn't end well for either of us. It's all right. Not his fault.
All right. You take care of yourself.
Love you. Drive carefully.
I always do. Love you.
Z was sweating by the time the car was out of sight. He took his hand off the building, and the paint returned.
I didn't do it for you. I didn't want her hanging around longer than necessary.
We both stepped away from the door to look at the painting that was now mostly covered by a big, fat-lettered red liar. The paint of the crossed bones was thicker than the spray paint, so even though I couldn't see most of the color, I could see the outline of it. The vampires dropped Stefan in my living room last night. He was in pretty rough shape. Peter, one of Adam's wolves, thinks whoever did it was hoping Stefan would attack me and we'd both be out of the way. Stefan wasn't in any shape to talk much, but what he did manage to convey was that Marsilia found out I killed Andre. Z traced his fingers over the bones and shook his head.
This might be vampire work. But Mercy, you've been putting your little nose so many places it doesn't belong. It could be almost anyone. I'll talk to Uncle Mike. But I expect your best bet for information about it is Stefan. Because it doesn't feel like Fey magic. How badly is Stefan hurt?
If he were a werewolf, I think he'd be dead. You think this is magic? It felt like that to me, but I was hoping I was wrong. Z frowned.
For an evil bloodsucker, he's not a bad sort.
High praise from Z.
And yes, there is magic here, but nothing I'm familiar with.